Hey guys, Feuerrm here, and today I will be testing the Maserati Alfieri in Asphalt 9 multiplayer. Now last time I made a video about this car, it was at 3 stars, and not my car, it was Bebop 94's. This time it is my own. I've nearly completely maxed it, but I don't have the handling import part. So let's get to our first race. Now, all races in this season were recorded in the Classic season, but there's a little bit of a catch. I'm using a C-Class car in Gold League, where everybody is going to be using B-Class cars, like the Corvette, F12 TDF, Lamborghini Huracan, and cars the likes of those. So we will have to see how the Alfieri really can do against this heightened competition, because I was thinking about in the past when I've done videos with cars in rush seasons, and I would usually test a car in the league that it became available. So for example, I would test a C-Class car in Silver League, a B-Class car in Gold League, and an A-Class car in Platinum League. But a lot of people have mentioned to me, and I've noticed this too, that in these sorts of rush seasons, there are a lot less skilled players at the various ranks that you'll find at, because you don't need skill in order to climb the leaderboard in a rush season. I mean, you need at least some skill in order to drive, but assuming you can come in podium positions all the time, you're pretty much set to go as high as you want, as long as you can play all day. So I decided to use the Alfieri not in Silver League, where it became available, but in Gold League, where I would be facing cars that were much better than my own, so where competition might be lost in skill level, it might be gained in the stats of the other cars in the race. And I found in this video that that worked out pretty well, and I was honestly quite surprised just how well this Alfieri managed to do. I mean, in this first race here, we beat 4 Corvette Grand Sports, 3 of which are higher ranked than me, and 2 F12 TDFs, which is not exactly something you'd expect from the car that most people consider to be the real boat of C-Class. But at max, it's honestly not that bad. Its drifting radius is kind of bad, and it loses quite a bit of speed when turning, but its nitro efficiency is pretty good, and its top speed is actually quite decent for Class C, 217 to 218 miles per hour, second only to the Vencer Sarth in its class. It also helped that the car was purple. Now, it's not metallic purple, so it might not be quite as good as it could be, but yeah, still purple. So here I take it around this turn, and unfortunately that guy did not have nitro on, so I knocked him down. There was nothing really I could do in a situation like that. If something like that happens to you in multiplayer, especially by me, like if you get knocked down by me, most likely something like that is what happened, because I do not try to knock down people on purpose in multiplayer unless they've knocked me down before. Yeah, I know, I've said that a lot, but I haven't actually said it in a few videos, so just reinstating it. In some other news, I've gotten some more information about what cars will be needed to unlock the Jesco. You will need a 4-star Ginetta maxed without epics, a 4-star Alfieri maxed without epics, as well as a 1-star 812 and a 1-star Aculone. Now, I have spent 15,000 tokens in the Jesco event to get Syndicate coins, and I'm not sure I'll even be able to win the Jesco. That should give you an idea of the state of the event. I will put everything that I have into this event, and if I do not manage to win the car, you bet there's going to be a video about it, and probably not a happy one. Those of us in the influencer program have been giving feedback to Gameloft about the event, as well as the concerns of ours and the concerns of the community as well. So rest assured that none of your concerns about not having enough Syndicate coins and whatever have gone unheard. I just do not know if they will actually change them by the time that the event ends, because currently the event is way too expensive. Even for a player like me, who I think has a pretty decent garage, and having 15,000 tokens to spend on the event, and going through and grinding every single pin mission, and not being able to get the car is honestly kind of ridiculous. Because given my current amount of Syndicate coins and the ones that I'll be getting up until 9 Kings 1, it appears that I should be able to unlock the 812 because they are 6,000 Syndicate coins apiece, and it is 50 to unlock of them. So that would be 300,000 Syndicate coins. I think I should be able to do that. And with the stuff that I'm going to be getting in Network Chiefs 1 and 2, I should be able to max my Ginetta as well. But here comes the problem. You need the Genti Aculone in order to complete Network Chiefs 3, and you cannot get to the pinned missions for that until you can unlock that car. And it requires 600,000 Syndicate coins to unlock, on top of everything else. That alone is 20,000 tokens worth of Syndicate coins. Do you see what I mean about this event being ridiculous? In this next race, we're facing two F12 TDFs, a Corvette, two Asterions, and two SCGs. As I said previously, pretty much every car in this video, except for mine, is going to be a B-class car, making for some very interesting and close races. So I've found that driving the Alfieri at max is a lot like driving the F12 TDF. It has the same fairly high top speed for its class, decent acceleration and nitro efficiency, and not so great handling and rather bad drifting. So I like to think of it as sort of like the F12 TDF of Class C. And speaking of the F12 TDF, there's a car that you guys probably remember that was added in this update called the 812 Superfast, which, judging by its stock stats, most people assume to be sort of like an F12 TDF with better handling. And it is sort of like that, because I've had the opportunity to test that at max as well as the Aculone at max, so I can sort of give my opinion on those two cars now. By the way, before anybody goes yelling to me in the comments, no, I did not get those cars for free. Anyway, the F12 TDF is a lot like people supposed it. However, its top speed is lower than the F12. However, its handling is definitely better, and it sits right between the SV and 918 in A class, so fairly high but no king. It feels quite smooth to drive though, so in this race we do come in first to this F12 TDF, which was quite a bit higher ranked than us. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about my thoughts about the Genty Aculone at max. It can go 238, 239 miles per hour, so fairly close to the VLF in terms of speed. However, its drifting and handling are definitely better than that of the VLF, and while its nitro efficiency is a bit worse, its acceleration is definitely better. I think the Aculone could definitely be a new king of Class A. Perhaps not on all tracks though, because while the Aperta does have a bit lower top speed than the Aculone, it does have quite a bit better nitro efficiency at max anyway. But not many people are actually going to be able to get the Aculone and Aperta start up very much, so currently still, the Feuerrm is the car that is practically the king of Class A. Many of you guys know that I'm going to be making a new best and worst cars in each class video after all the cars in this update have been tested, which is, well, now the case, so I expect to put out that video next week. Now, I probably will put the Aculone and Aperta above the Feuerrm simply because what they've been tested at max has definitely better lap times than the Feuerrm could probably get. Even though most people are not going to be able to get them yet, there should be times in the future when people can star them up, because that list is based mainly on potential lap times at max rather than much of anything else. Perhaps that may clear up some confusions that people have had on how exactly the list is sorted. So in that race, we lose to an F12 TDF, but we do beat Corvette Grand Sports. In this race, we have 3 Corvette Grand Sports as well as a Sin R1. Something interesting that the Sin R1 and Alfieri have in common was that they were both added in the Slipstream update. Now, the Genty Aculone and 570S were also added there. Now, all of these cars have seemed to be sort of sluggish on barrel rolls. I didn't really get that feeling with the Aculone, but that definitely was the case with the 570S and the Sin R1. Now, that was fixed with the Sin R1 as well as the speed loss with that car, but it still seems to be on the 570S, which makes that car not quite as enjoyable to drive as it might otherwise be. My Sin R1 and 570S are both 4-star now, by the way, so I just hope that fix that came to the Sin also comes to the Alfieri and the 570S. Even though I haven't noticed it a whole lot, some other people certainly have. As we cross the ice lake, we come closer to this Corvette and then manage to pass him here. I drift around this turn here and then decide not to wait for Shockwave because I knew if that Corvette shockwaved into me and I had no nitro, I was definitely gonna die. So in this case, it worked out sort of fine. He bumped me from behind, but I was at least in orange nitro, so he didn't knock me down. And because my speed is actually better, or maybe about the same as that of the Corvette, I do manage to come in first, beating this Corvette as well as 2 other ones and that Sin R1. I just wanted to show you that even cars that may have been considered to be no good, or at least not useful in many ways, such as this one, can actually be put to good use in multiplayer or events or somewhere if you just take the time to test it. And being able to max this car is definitely one good thing that I took away from the Jesco event, because I actually quite like it. Yeah, I have positive feelings for this car, which is something that not many other people have, it seems. During this final race, which is actually quite close, I will give my general review of this car. It's not a king of Class C necessarily, but it is one of the top cars, being better than the BMW M4, but worse than the Pininfarina, Acura, and Vencer, on most tracks at least I would say, so it fits snugly into 4th place. But in multiplayer due to it having the second highest speed in Class C and having pretty good nitro efficiency. It can actually compete fairly well against some B-class cars, as you've been able to see in this video, considering also that its acceleration is not horrible. Really, the only thing that you have to be super aware of when driving this car is the fact that its handling and drifting are not very good, and you will lose quite a bit of speed. So that is why I always have tried to not drift for very long in this car. Remember, it is necessary to 4-star this car in order to get the Jesco. Around these final turns, we pass this F12 TDF and come in first. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 9 and Forza Horizon 4 content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!